If you've ever tried learning how to float on your back, you know it's not as easy as it looks. People are telling you all you have to do is relax, but since you don't know how to swim, or you've been struggling with fear of water all your life, you're far from being able to relax. And even if you did, one thing that stops you from learning this skill is the unpleasant sensation when the water gets up your nose. When the water gets up your nose, it ruins all the fun and makes you want to go home instead of practicing. In this video, I will show you how to effortlessly float on your back without worrying about the water getting into your nostrils and ruining your chances of learning to float. I will show you how I learned back floating after several years of not being able to relax in the water, how I got around the water getting into my nose, and how I finally was able to relax, to lie on the surface of the water for however long I wanted. When you learn how to float on your back, you will not only be able to save yourself if you accidentally fall into the water, but it will also allow you to start learning how to swim on your back and give you confidence to spend more time in the water, learning all the other strokes. But let's first address the way you lean on your back in the water. What I saw happening a lot in the swimming pool is people throwing themselves on their back rather than slowly leaning away onto the surface of the water. If you jump backwards, you create a momentum that will cause your body to sink. In order to float on your back side, you need to lower yourself by bending your knees. Lift one of your legs upwards and gently lean on your back, placing your head on the water as if you were placing it on a pillow. You need to lift your chin up and look up to the ceiling. Use your core muscles and gentle kicks to lift your belly and hips up. You don't have to use a lot of force here. It can be done slowly and without too much effort. The reason why we're doing it is because legs have big muscles which sink easier than the upper part of your body. Throughout this video, you will see me switching between not moving my legs at all to gentle kicks in different directions. This is not an easy skill to master and requires a lot of practice. But don't get discouraged and feel free to experiment with different movements of your legs and arms just like I do here. Once you get comfortable and relax, you can change your shape into a star or even pretend like you are lying on a bed by placing your hands under your head just like I did. Before you start experimenting with different movements, make sure you practice regaining standing position just in case you lose balance in the water easily. To regain standing position from the back float, you simply bring your knees towards the chest, move your head forward, and swing your arms forward as well. Let your body spin as if you were about to sit in a chair. Then place your feet firmly on the ground and stand up. When I first tried to learn floating on my back, I struggled to place my head on the surface of the water. I could not believe that it is possible for me to float without water getting into my nose and sinking. Therefore, I struggled to relax my neck muscles. That created enough tension to cause fear of water and an inability to float. To eliminate this problem, we could use a temporary fix and utilize a nose clip. By using a nose clip, we take the water entering your nostrils out of the equation. It is no longer possible for the water to get in your nose and stop you from practicing. All you have to do is fill your lungs with air and hold your breath. Now, if you want to float for longer, you have to eventually release that air from your lungs and take a fresh breath. In order to do so, just slowly and gradually release the air through your mouth and breathe again when you're ready. You will notice that the more air is in your lungs, the more buoyant you will be, and the higher on the surface of the water you will float. When you start emptying your lungs, your body will slowly lower itself in the water. Don't wait until your lungs are completely empty because you will find it harder to stay afloat. However, when you're fully relaxed and floating on your back is becoming your second nature, you won't even have to hold your breath. It's all about mastering that breath and the relaxation. The point here is to practice as much as possible. If you don't have a nose clip, you might want to bring a snorkeling mask with you to the pool. It will help you to achieve the same effect, which is blocking your nose and allowing you to practice without worrying about water entering your airways. Some people feel very uncomfortable about water going into their ears. I don't personally experience discomfort with water in my ears, but if you do, I recommend getting one of these earplugs. Once again, it will take this issue out of the equation and let you practice in peace. If you want to learn, you will need to eliminate those uncomfortable hurdles and give yourself the best odds of success. One thing to know though, once you learned the skill of floating on your back, ditch those earplugs and the nose clip so that you don't depend on them anytime you go swimming. Just like a kid would have training wheels on their bike, we will use these as your support to remove the barrier to learning. Once you feel ready, try floating and swimming without them. Then spend as much time as you can practicing floating on your back. Truly feel the water. Get accustomed to it. Practice in your local swimming pool and on your holidays. When it finally clicks, you will feel different. Just like I did those few years ago, you will feel empowered and equipped in motivation to learn more. From learning how to swim backstroke to taking on the front crawl. See you in another video.